Number 15 Alabama takes down number 5 St. John's 103-96 in a thriller of a top 15 matchup at MSG, almost 200 total points scored. Let's talk about it. It felt like both sides were trying to beat the other at their own game in a way. Alabama trying to be the tougher, more physical, more aggressive team, and St. John's saying, Alabama, we're going to outrun and gun you. And I just think Alabama was able to execute a bit better because what they were trying to beat St. John's at was a little bit easier to accomplish. St. John's did well trying to run and gun with Alabama, but that's just not the team you want to get into a track meet with. Alabama wins by 7, and it really may have just come down to shot volume. The Crimson Tide got up 18 more shots than St. John's did. All 18 of them were threes, and they connected on 5 of them. And part of how Alabama was able to generate these extra shots that swung the game is winning the turnover battle and winning on the offensive glass. They forced 12 turnovers and pulled down 14 offensive rebounds. Very potent offense for the Crimson Tide, which isn't a surprise for a Nate Oates coach team. Taylor Bowen getting it done inside, 17-9. And then the guard trio of Latrell Wrightsell, LeBaron Philon, and Aiden Holloway, they were cooking all game, combined for 63 points. And all 3 of these guys can attack off the dribble, which makes them even more dangerous because very few teams in college basketball can say they have 3 guys that can do that effectively. And LeBaron Philon specifically. Early returns, he's looking like a guy who's gunning for SEC Player of the Year. On the St. John's side, I think they played well. I did come into this one expecting a little more defensive resistance on their part, and Alabama's a really good offensive team, and it's tough to play them this early in the season, but the defense did leave a little bit to be desired for me. I thought it was admirable trying to beat Alabama in a track meet, but again, that's just really not the game you want to play with them. Zuby Ejiofor had a monster game, 27-10. Bryce Hopkins added 19-4. That's going to be a really good front court for St. John's all season. I thought the guards played fine. It was still pretty apparent to me that St. John's lacks a true point guard, and they moved the ball pretty well without one, but watching this, it was hard for me not to think how much they would have benefited from having a true facilitator at the 1. All in all, a really fun game with some quality basketball. Alabama looks as dangerous as ever, and I'm not even out on St. John's after a game like this. I do think they have some things that need to be addressed, some questions that need to be answered, but I think this game is less about St. John's being grossly overrated than it is Alabama's offensive firepower being very legit. If you made it this far through the video, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this game. What do you think about Alabama? What do you think about St. John's? And if you like college basketball content, hit that follow button.